welcome back to the Shuffle Squad. Zach Lesage here. Today we are going to be covering Archaludon EX with the Poison package. The list in specific that we have here is from Isaiah Chevelle, top 16 Atlanta Regionals, so you know you're in good hands. Starting off with the Poison package, we have that turn 1 donk factor. Donk means that we're able to win the game on our first turn, even before our opponent starts the game. We can have the Pecharunt in the active spot, use Brute Bonnet plus our Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to activate Poison. Pecharunt makes it 6 times Poison, so you can do 6 damage counters to your opponent's Pokemon in between turns. That's not an attack, it's just setting Poison. And Perilous Jungle allows us to make it 8 times Poison. Therefore, we're able to knock out things like Dreepy, Routes, Hoots, and if your opponent only has 1, you could just win the game right there. Now we have the Archaludon package in the back, allowing us to self-accelerate energies and do 220 damage, but we can combine that with the Poison with Brute Bonnet to make it 230, make it 250 damage with Perilous Jungle, increase our damage output with Binding Mochi to 290, and then Kieran allows us to do 320 if we want to knock out something like Dragapults. It's one of those more interesting decks. Cards like Pecharunt EX allow us to get out of Saw Block, if that's something that we're ever worried about. And it seems like a pretty cool list across the board. So if you want to copy and paste it and play along, you can always find the list available in the description. You could also find the list. You could scan that QR code on Archaludon, and you can copy and paste from there. If you need any cards, check out our sponsors at Kayfabe Cards for physical cards, PTCGL Store for online code cards, and Ultimate Guard for any accessories to build this deck. Like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think about this deck in the comments, or just any kind of general comments, because it does help boost the YouTube algorithm. Let's jump into that gameplay and show you exactly what this deck can do. Maybe it's going to be a short game where we win turn 1 with Pecharunt. Maybe it's going to be a long game with Archaludon doing some heavy-duty poison damage. We'll find out. Alrighty, while our opponent won the coin flip, they're going to choose who wants to go first or second. A lot of decks want to go seconds, or if they go first, they might not be able to get too many basic Pokemon down. We'll figure out what we have going on in our hand, decide if a turn 1 poison knockout is something to worry about. They've benched a lot of Pokemon, so it looks like they are a little bit worried about these poison type decks. Let's just send up Budew because we have access to free retreat, and we can always decide if we want to use Itchy Paw or not. Now, as our opponent's getting set up, it looks like we're playing against an Ends Zoroark deck. Pretty popular deck in the metagame. Trying to figure out if it should be a good matchup for us. I mean, they do have the Darmanitan that could turn themselves fire type, but it doesn't look like they have a whole bunch extra that we can really do. We got to watch out for Perilous Jungle that doesn't affect Pokemon that are darkness type. And right now, they might just have a slow start with Itchy Pollen. Should be kind of okay here. So let's go ahead here, and I think we're just going to go Archaludon, or Duraludon goes down. We could see if there's something we want with Pokégear. Now, I'm kind of okay with the Iono, but at the same time, our opponent also has this 2-card hand. So let's see if there's another option here. Carmine might just be kind of our best bet because we don't want them to have a great opening hand. We could go Pecharunt down or Pecharunt down, we could have discarded the energy, which might end up being a little bit better. Let's put the Binding Mochi here on Duraludon. The Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, if you're not putting on one of your other Pokemon, or if you're not putting it on a Pokemon, it does shut that Pokemon off from being able to use like Binding Mochi or anything else like that. So it's actually better for us to go Carmine here. We want the energies in our discard pile for our Archaludon EX. And really not all that great. We do have access to Squawkabilly. Do we want to Carmine next turn? Like it's not like we can get everything going because of Perilous Jungle, they're not going to be poison. We don't need to set up poison on the Pecharunt because they could also just Budew us. We have the Archaludon. Do we want to get out another, or sorry, we have the Duraludon. Do we want to get out another one? In this case, I kind of think we do. They could always just go bring up attack with Reshiram. Actually, you want to know what? We're just going to go ahead here, put on our fighting or metal energy. Ooh, almost got screwed up there. I don't want to put down another 2 prize card liability that they could just knock out with Virtuous Flame. I'm going to try to slow down our opponent as much as we possibly can with Itchy Pollen. They can't get out Itchy Pollen. And then we're going to build up our board. I don't think they have a great way to go, like, they could maybe go knockout, knockout. But, like, it seems like they have to have it with a 3-card hand. They have to poison themselves. And then we should just be able to poison ourselves to do 220, 260. Maybe we need Kieran damage, but we can maybe knock out our opponent's Pokemon in between turns. And if they're using Pecharunt to take some poison damage, we could find ourselves in a pretty good spot. So overall, I'm kind of chilling right now as our opponent, like, we're just hoping to Budew, Itchy Pollen, and maybe they'll just bring up Zorua and we can knock out Zorua. I'm not super worried about it. Maybe they'll evolve. All that just to use Scratch, and now there's Zorua's like in perfect range to getting knocked out. Awesome. This is what we're looking for. So at this point, I want to discard Squawkabilly. The Perilous Jungle is not going to really matter in this matchup because all their Pokemon are dark. In every other matchup, it's pretty good, but they somehow played the one deck that is dark. So let's discard those so we have access to Brute Bonnet because we do want to set some poison damage. And I think we just want to be getting out the Archaludon. So if we find another energy, we're able to take a knockout on our opponent's active. They are double weak to us, so it is something to consider. They're also poison. We could retreat into Pecharunt if we want to. But let's just see what we want to do here. There's the Assembly Alloy. Taking the energies. Let's go Brute Bonnet and let's go Carmine. So we found the other energy. We have a Nest Ball here. I don't know exactly what I want to do Nest Ball for. I think like they're not going to be able to tear us down. One of the biggest issues with this deck is they have the 170 damage attack, or they copy all the energies that we have in our discard pile. Neither of them are going to be great. So we can go Metal Energy here. We can go Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. We don't need the extra pieces right now. When it comes down to Night Stretcher, I don't care about Squawkabilly. We have no energies. Let's save the Nest Ball for when we decide what we want to do. Maybe our opponent's going to bring something up and we can get out Fezandipiti. Maybe our opponent's going to do a lot of things. And in this case, since we're not getting the knockout in between turns with poison, we don't want to take any extra damage ourselves. I know we're setting up the prize trade early. We are an aggressive forward deck, so we're not super worried about it. Grab your prize cards where you can. Grabbing a second Nest Ball, we probably just want to grab a Dura. But we could also just end up grabbing something like, we'll see. We'll see exactly how the next turn goes. We either want to focus on prize cards by knocking out the Pecharunt, knocking out some of our opponent's Pokemon that might, like, they might get some damage on them. Like, let's see exactly what goes on here. So Super Rod was one of the items that Itchy Pollen was stopping. Maybe they have something else, or their setup might just suck. Yeah, these end Zoroark decks, like you think Zoroark's consistent. You saw Henry Chow in the finals play it. It's just not really like cutting it here. At this point, I think I just want to go after Zorua's. I'm going to put down a Duraludon just in case they somehow pull out a knockout. It's always good to have a second Dura down anyways. And we're just going to start ripping prize cards. As long as our Archaludon's not really like facing any like opportunities to get knocked out, we're fine. And we really played this card just for subjugating chains. We're not really a dark type, but we could bring out something like Pecharunt pretty easily. And now our opponent's deck's starting to work. They could get out something like Ultra Ball, and that could allow them to start doing things. There's Hyper Aroma. Cool, that's actually going to really work out there. So search your deck for up to 3 stage 1 Pokemon, reveal them and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So our opponent grabbing... What did they grab with that? Zoroark, and ends Darmanitan. Okay, so they have 280, and this is really like, it'd be nice if we can get the knockout on our opponent's active Pokemon, but right now we could do 220 plus the 40 more, 260, plus 10 from poison. Something like Perilous isn't really going to help us out all the way there, and we could knock them out in between turns as our opponent puts back. I mean, that might be kind of hot when I think about it, like, but they could also get set up and maybe get off a flame body cannon or something like that. So right now I'm just gonna go boss's orders, bringing up this. Sometimes it's better just to take the prize cards on board than anything else. And Archaludon's just having Enzork, stew for lunch, all these different Pokemon. We're just eat, ripping our opponent to shreds. And if we chop deck Kieran, we're good. Or if our opponent somehow makes himself poison, we're good. Or we can go into the play next turn where we put 220, 260 plus poison and then force them to get a knockout. Or force them to get knocked out. That'd be kind of cool. Now they're using the Janine's Secret Art. That's fine. If they just end up going Flame Body Cannon, they're going to do 90. Oh, they also just poison themselves. They just lose the game now. So they probably don't see how we can poison ourselves or something like that, or maybe don't understand the full math. Them taking that 10 allows us to do 260 plus next turn. Yeah, their deck just never took off, whereas sometimes a single Archaludon really ends up working here. So since we need to poison ourselves in order to get our numbers up, 220 to 260, plus the extra 10 in between turns, we don't have to do anything else. There's the knockout with Arch. Taking the knockout in between turns. If our opponent has Fezandipiti, there's nothing that they could do there. Not a great setup for them, but that's what happens when you chow down on your opponent's Pokemon, where sometimes you just knock out one of your opponent's Dreepy by poison before they get a chance to start. It's kind of the making of this deck, and that's just really how it is. That's what we got going on with Archaludon EX. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. We have a lot of great content going on the channel, and while this video goes up, I'm probably still going to be in Mexico for the regionals. So I pre-recorded a lot of things before I've left for my trip, and I hope that everyone enjoys this content while I'm gone, with the pre-scheduled content, the pre-scheduled social posts, all that great stuff. So as I'm hopefully rocking it out there in Mexico, I really appreciate y'all tuning in, and any words that you left in the comments, I will get back to them sooner than later. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes.
Tabi no hajimari wa tsune ni michi e no ippo de aru. Sore wa yami e to tsuzuku. 初めの一歩を踏み出すには勇気がいる。そして旅の終わりには旅を始めた時の自分とは別人になっているかもしれない。旅に出よう。物語の次の章がお主を待っている。将軍の道を歩め。侍の箱とともに。アルティメットガードが送る冒険の第一章。刀将軍の道近日発売。
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content that we have today, and maybe you'll click on one of these other videos, enjoy those videos too. If you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what video you want to watch next. Until next time, we'll catch up with all y'all later. Have yourself a great day.